Hey YouTube, it's Gray Crash. So today, I think I need to open up a little bit about something that really can irritate me. Oh, whoops. Okay, sorry, my camera fell. That actually wasn't supposed to happen, but anyways. So today, I watched a YouTube video. It was basically on British news, and it was about a girl who was viciously attacked by bullies, told to kill herself or they would drown her. And I feel like this is an extremely touchy subject for me. So as soon as I get done with this introduction, I'm going to keep the camera rolling because this is a very difficult topic for me. So today, I will be talking about my bullying story, and it's kind of a long one. It definitely, I didn't open up about it in my Draw My Life, but I think it's about time I open up on about 90% of it. The other 10%, I'm not going to open up about because it's more difficult, and it's something I feel like should not be publicized on the internet. I don't want that name. So I'm going to be doing this video to open up to you guys. So here we go, I guess. So a lot of you guys have probably found out and discovered my social medias in the past half year. Currently, I have almost 22,000 followers on TikTok. And I also have a bunch of other platforms that are progressively growing, such as my YouTube. The thing was, I'm a lot happier than I've been in years. And I didn't want to open up about my entire bullying life until I saw that video. So I want there to be a message out of this that you're not alone. Even though you may feel like you're alone, you're not. You're definitely not. So, the beginning probably starts at around 7th grade. I had just gotten into middle school, and I had a pretty good reputation at the beginning of it. I actually kind of had a thing with somebody who was extremely popular. Everybody shipped us, and some people even took photos of us off guard. It was a big deal. But something happened that changed my life forever. And as soon as that thing happened, I pretty much knew it was a pretty downhill experience from there. So starting up, I had just gotten out of the winter dance. I don't even remember what it was called. I think it was some sort of Valentine's Day middle school dance. I was so happy because we went to the dance together. But unfortunately, I really wish I didn't have to say this. I'm going to be blunt. I had basically been the one to propel the whole thing. He didn't even want to go to the dance with me, but I went and bought him a ticket, and he had to. I feel really bad about that. Like, I really do. So that's why I'm opening up about this, is because it's about time I get the truth out. Like, I'm done being behind this mask. So, yeah, had just gotten out of the winter formal. Everything was great. But I didn't know that about 5 or 6 days later that my entire well-being was about to go crashing down. So it was really interesting to know that everything was good, and I felt I was on like a social high. But then he broke up. He pretty much broke up with me. When he broke up with me, we weren't even like official, but as soon as that happened, I was really upset. But there was about to be a big twist. So my sister's best friend was actually having a bat mitzvah one of the days. I don't even remember like what day it was. I think it was February 14th, something like that. So not very long ago. But while I was there, I put my phone down for pretty much the whole time. And I was really surprised to open up my phone and see that all of a sudden there were very embarrassing pictures of me up on my Instagram. And it said, #hacked. I kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't realize that if I just put my phone down for a few minutes, an hour, 2 hours, that would change everything. Because when I opened up my phone, it was the most embarrassing photo of me, and people were already commenting on it. People were like, what the fuck, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God. So I called my mom, told her that my Instagram got hacked. And eventually I called my dad and told him. So there was a point where we were all trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And that's when I started to like get accusations from certain people that were saying, oh my God, it's so-and-so. And then I looked it up and it wasn't even that person. Like, this person had no mutuals with anyone. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God. So there's people trolling with me at the same time, which did not help my case at all. That people were all over the place. I just wanted to know who it was. So I made an account just to check up on things. I pretty much logged out of that account. Whoops, sorry, 10% battery. But then I just got to watch as my Instagram was completely deteriorated. And the worst thing that was actually posted against me was basically a selfie stick with a gun on it, as if you were able to press the button so it would shoot you. And it said, Chloe should do this. It haunts me to this day. And pretty much that was when I started to have suicidal thoughts. I didn't tell anyone about it, though. Because, you know, I was trying to keep strong, not emotionally break down. But eventually we went to the police about it. There was a week-long investigation. I was an emotional wreck. And when fingers started to get pointed at people, that's when things escalated. But this starts to feed into the parts I told you about Draw My Life. When Draw My Life, I'm now in orchestra. I'm in orchestra. And I knew something was up the moment I got a transportation pass saying go to the resource officer immediately. So I went, and when I walked into that room, I already got a really horrible vibe. I knew something was up. When I got in there, the police officer pretty much told me that she thought it was me and she was going to press charges if I didn't admit it the first time. I said my story once and she said I had one more chance. So I had to fess up to it. And that's what people don't understand. They think I just came clean. I was held under pressure. I should have stood up for what I believed in, but I didn't. If y'all are in that situation, you need to stand your ground. One confession that isn't true can change your life. Fortunately, so I had my phone taken away, and it was going to be for a very long time. It was only 2 or 3 days later that my mom finally believed that it wasn't me that did this. Apparently, the hacker had received a message from my mom, and it was about all these positive things about me. It made me cry when I actually got to read it. Because my mom, she had her phone, and the direct message was on her phone still. And I was unfamiliar with it. It was this mile-long paragraph. And I've definitely read it. Like, I'm slower when I'm reading new things. And when my mom saw that, she knew that this wasn't me that did this. And that's the part that people never got to hear about. I lost my friends. I lost everything due to that hacker. But that was only the start. You know? It really, I thought I was actually going to be able to get out of it, you know? I thought I was going to be able to recover. But then, unfortunately, a couple days before that, my mom actually had me publicly post an apology. Got forwarded to everyone, and no one knew what to say. I just wish that they would be able to hear the tail end of this, which is another good reason why I'm making this video. I want to show some of the things weren't me. I want to show that I'm innocent in some ways, but I also want to take ownership over others. Because I'm not the same person I used to be. So, continuing on. So, 8th grade was a whole other fuse of shenanigans, but it wasn't that relevant. So, I'm going to skip over it. But 9th grade has probably been the worst year I've ever had of my life. Already walking into Greenmount, I had quite a bit of drama with a lot of people. A lot of people, they still were upset with me, still didn't like me. So I knew it was going to be rough from the start. When I walked in there, only a few people actually talked to me. And that's when I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to have to put my defenses out this year. The first drama I had wasn't bad. It was literally girl drama. Like, so what? But it was really only a couple weeks into school that things started to change. Things started to get a little crazy. I had this URL in my bio. It was called This Crush. And it was good at first. It was actually really fun to read these messages. But then one day, a bunch of anonymous people started to write brutal things to me, just like what the hacker did. One of the people told me, kill yourself. You would be doing you would be doing a favor to the world. That was the first message I ever got that absolutely, it demolished me. And the thing is, these people never fessed up to actually saying this stuff to me. And that's what really hurts. I would recommend to not use anonymous messaging sites. Because someone you know that is too scared to tell you how they feel about you will go behind and make you their bitch. So I'm saying that you, for your own health, stay away from Telenym, This Crush, Saraha. Stay away from those websites. That's my lesson. Don't ever put yourself in that position, because people will say the most rude stuff to you. I've seen it happen to all my friends too. It's ridiculous. So I would say my best advice to you on that is to stay away from those sites. It may be fun, but it also could ruin your ego. So, continuing on. Eventually, my varsity softball coach found out about everything going on. I was already breaking down, okay? Like, I was in the worst mood ever. This was the point where I actually started to contemplate suicide. Because I had been told it so many times. And I've been told stuff like, oh, wow, you're so amazing. I don't know why you're getting this much hate. Oh, wait, I do, though. You have fucked so many people over and you are a disgrace to this community. And blah, 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 blah. I remember that so wholeheartedly. I think of it every single day. And that's the worst part about bullying. If you get beaten up, that's pretty bad and that must hurt. But words hurt more than anything. Those words live with you for the rest of your life. I have had the worst ego most of my life ever since any of this happened. My self-confidence has been shit. And I mean, at this point, I'm not harboring as much sadness as I used to. I'm more harboring anger. I'm more angry than sad now. Because I feel as if everything just went wonkadoodle. I hate it. It's the worst. And I don't know how long it's going to take me to get over it. It might never happen that I actually get over it. So you need to watch what you say to people, especially in messages, because those messages save. And not only could you get in trouble for it if you're bullying someone else, but that person could look at it at any time and it all comes back. Once you send something out there, it's there forever. Nothing about this deleting. It's there and it will never go away. That's when I wish that I knew who sent most of those messages. There was one point that I will get to that I actually found out who sent one of those, and it was the most brutal one I ever read. But continuing on like story schedule, I started to get a lot more depressed. And there was actually a point where I threatened suicide to one of my varsity softball teammates. And for that, I was put on an IEP, which can never be lifted. An IEP is an individualized education plan. You can even get one if you're at risk, if you're depressed, suicidal. There's so many reasons you can get an IEP, and mine was because I was at risk. So I got the IEP. And I was also put on this thing called a no-pass list. Usually people who go on there, it's because they ditch class. They don't go to class. But for me, it was because they didn't know if I could go to the bathroom and off myself. Knowing that adults don't trust you in that way, it hurts. I mean, at least I had a little bit of a feeling inside that adults cared about me. The kids may not care about me, but the adults did. And now I look back and I actually thank those adults so much. There is no adult that held me back like that I would ever be mad at. There's no teacher, no security guard. I wish I had listened to all of them because things were only going to spiral worse. By the time it was almost winter, I was ditching class a lot because I didn't want to go to class. I didn't want to see the people that didn't like me. I didn't want to be under that pressure. People were already making fun of me in the hallways and everything. People would give me these death stares, and it was ridiculous. And that's when I really started to fail my classes. When I first got into the school, I had all A's. But bullying took such a toll on me that my grades started to deteriorate completely. And when my grades deteriorated like that, that's when I started to have more restrictions. My parents were always mad at me. I was constantly up all night trying to get my homework done. I didn't even get a phone. My phone was gone. When I threatened suicide, I wasn't legally allowed to have a phone. I wasn't allowed to have any sort of contact to anybody. Even though eventually I started to use the school emails to email a bunch of people, which brought more drama. But I was ditching class, and by this point, there was an entire squadron of ex-friends and new girls that were friends with those ex-friends that pretty much hated me. My best friend from middle school was a part of that group. And the worst part about this is I had a crush on that best friend. I had a crush on her. And now, at this point in time, there's no good connection we have. We're mad at each other. I can kind of understand why. I was in manic. I just wish there was a lot of things that I could have fixed. There is so many things about this situation that I could easily fix. So I'm not putting all the blame on the bullies. I'm really not. But I would never even dream about saying half the things that, not even half, any of the things that these people told me. Eventually, I was in a big dramatic incident because I had no other way to rant about my bullying. I put it into a story. And I used similar names to the people that were bullying me. I really wish I hadn't done that. Because when the girls found it, they reported it to the principal. I was suspended for misconduct of social media. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I really wish that there was some way I could have prevented this. I don't think there's ever going to be a way to ever go back on most of these things and fix them. So, I had been suspended and I came back. And we had this big meeting about me going back, blah, 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 blah. And more security measures put on me, blah, 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 blah. And I was done at that point. 110% done. And by February, rumors were hot spreading around. And there was a lot of things that were not true that were said. I don't want to talk about them on camera. But I was called a skank, a slut, a whore, a fucktard. There were a lot of things that I was called. And I would just be going through the hallways. This one girl actually tried to run up on me during PE. And, well, she didn't try to run up on me, but, like, she was talking mad stuff trying to get me to run up on her. So she was trying to get me to fight her. But I have never fought anyone in my life, nor will I ever. Because I know how it feels to say those words, to hurt people like that, and then to hurt them physically? Are you fucking kidding me? No! If I ever got into a fight and it started out with talking smack and being rude to each other, I would never think of myself the same way again. And believe me, it's almost happened multiple times. But I remember the last thing I said to this girl, I said, "Thanks, bitch," and she said, "You're welcome, skank." Another day that I will not remember, right in the middle of the gym, in front of the teacher, and she had to split us up. I was like, wow, because she and I were actually reasonably friends, and now she hated me just like everybody else. I was progressively losing friends. Misconduct of social media. This, that, and the other thing. Cliques forming against me. Everything was out of control. My head was spinning. I was starting to do drugs. I did everything for the wrong reasons. I still have scars decking my wrists from every single night. For a month, there was not one time that I didn't self-harm. And then the day came, I was fed up with everything. I was already fed up with everything. But when that ex-best friend of mine from middle school embarrassed me in front of the whole class and started yelling at me and ranting at me, I broke. Because seeing someone you loved that much break you over to the point that you want to end your own life, that's something I'll never forget. I'm thankful for everything that's happened. Because I wouldn't be the person I am today. But I remember walking out of that class and I only went to 2 other classes. I was supposed to go to my earth science class. I'm right here. My science class is right here. The door outside that isn't guarded is right there. I looked for less than a minute, but it was the longest minute of my life. I looked at that classroom and I'm like, you can turn this around. One side of me was saying that. And then the other side, it said, go. You don't need to live here anymore. You will never fix yourself. You are broken beyond repair. Just finish yourself off. And that side of me spoke the loudest. I walked past that classroom full force. And right as the bell rang, the final bell, I opened the door and left. I opened the door and I left. I could have saved everything. But I didn't. I was at my breaking point. And when someone gets to their breaking point, it's the most painful thing. Some people are in such pain that they don't even know what they're doing. But I did. I went home. 45-minute walk. When I got home, my dog, when I opened the door, tried to greet me. I pushed one of my favorite parts of my life out of the way. I didn't let her even comfort me. I didn't let her do anything. And she could have saved me too. Any love that I had, I felt so worthless that I pushed it away. And I went upstairs. I slit my wrists. I still have the grooves in my wrists. I look at them every day. And one part of me says, you're so strong now and these are your battle scars. And the other part of me says, Chloe, why did you do that to yourself? Why? I'm sorry, I'm really getting emotional right now, thinking back at it. But I took a deadly dose of pills, sleeping pills, and I didn't see them work, so I took my bike back to school. This was right before 7th period. I made it back in time for 7th period, which was like probably the final period, I think. And my friend, she was a senior. She came up to me and said, Chloe, you don't look so good. She said I was ghost pale. And that is when I realized I was probably gonna die. I was gonna die at school with no one by my side. And that is the worst feeling on the planet. Being at the precipice of your own extinction is the worst feeling any person can have. And for me, it made it worse because I could have been fine. I could have physically been fine, but I didn't do it. And I sat in my geometry class and I blacked out. But the last thing I saw was my geometry teacher. He reached for the phone and I had to leave the class and go into an ambulance. I almost died. And if I had, I never would have been able to take that back. And that is why ever since I haven't tried to kill myself. But when I was in the hospital and I woke up, my dad was right there. One of the people I love the most was right there for me to wake up. But that's when I realized suicide isn't the answer. I had to go to a mental hospital. It was basically, I was evaluated and I went to a behavioral health center. And while I was there, I met friends that I still talk to today. My best friends. And this just shows how things can turn around. And when I went back to school, I was put on a safety plan and I wasn't even allowed to touch my friends. I couldn't hug them. I had no method of comfort. And that is what so the video actually cut off. My phone died. I had forgotten when I fired off the phone to start the video that it was at 10%. So as I was waiting for my phone to recharge, and I prayed that everything, all the 29 minutes of me talking about myself and my life, I hoped it saved. And I was like, damn it, when my phone died, but at least it gave me time to like regroup. I was dead on the inside. I was like, oh my God, like, I haven't actually looked that far into depth about it until now. So, like, definitely I can see why this hurt a lot of people and why I try to never think about it. But those people in the hospital were my best friends, and when I came back, I was put on that thing where I couldn't touch anybody. I already said that. I'm just trying to catch back up to speed. So one day I pulled the plug and I ditched class on purpose to get myself expelled. And I did. And it said specifically on my plan that if I violated any of the rules, I would get suspended or expelled. I was expelled. I'm not gonna lie. But it was probably the best expulsion anybody could ask for. I was just glad I didn't have to go there anymore. So I really didn't care. I was put into a school for at-risk teens. And being able to regroup, get a new setting, and be able to actually progress to being good and, like, excelling in school. If I hadn't done any of that, I probably would be either failing out of school, still hurting, or dead. One thing changes everything. And you could be at your all-time low. But sometimes you gotta go at your absolute lowest to get back up again. I was so happy by the end of my freshman year. Things were getting better. I probably if this hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't be quite as thankful for everything as I am today. I don't take anything for granted these days. Because I know one decision can hurt it all, or it can change it all. And after being at that point where you think your life is over, it's the worst feeling on the planet. I used to say that stuff never got better. But the truth is, it truly, truly does. It's been, as of 13 days from now, it will have been 2 years since that suicide attempt. And if I could go back to that day and tell my past self that everything would be okay, hold my past self's hand and be like, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be alive. You're gonna get out of this. This isn't forever. You just need to hold on. I would do anything to do that. I know personally now, I may get upset and I may say that it doesn't get better. But I have to look at the big picture. A lot of people, when they're depressed and suicidal, they look at the small picture. You have so much you have to live for. Don't get a school of people. Don't let them get you down. I don't want anybody to ever experience the pain that I did. And that's why, now that I am an influencer on social media, I try so hard to make sure everyone's okay. I try to make funny content just to try to make someone smile. Because I can't handle seeing people at the age I was, or younger, or older. Anybody. You could literally be anybody, and I will do fucking anything to help you feel better. I could never smile and laugh at somebody being sad. Why could anybody else? I definitely am extremely empathetic, but a lot of people that do this, they take everything for granted. They have their own insecurities, but they take everybody for granted. Don't. Bullies are not important, okay? Just because someone in this world has their own opinion that isn't even true about you doesn't make it true. I've said this before, but anybody at all, if you need any help or just to talk to someone, I will put my social medias in the description below. I will talk to any of you guys, because I don't want you to go through the same thing. I want you to know that there's actual hope out there. No matter what it is, you're loved. There's love everywhere. You've got to just know it's there. Just because you don't have a significant other, or you don't have very many close friends, that doesn't mean you're not loved. Your parents that are still with you love you. If you don't have parents and you have a pet, your pet loves you and depends on you. And that's where it gets emotional for me, because I pushed my dog out of the way when she could have helped me. That dog slept with me every single night on the foot of my bed, and I would hug her if I was crying. What would she have done without me? What would you have done without her? It hurts people you love. If you're hurt, talk to someone that loves you. Because it hurts a lot more to hurt the people you love by taking your own life. If you take your own life, there's so many things that you're canceling in your life. You're canceling marriage. You're canceling a diploma. You're canceling your kids. You're canceling your future friends. If you die, what if one of them becomes suicidal without you? Think about that a little bit. No one's gonna be better off without you. People say things they don't mean. And if they mean it, then they're ridiculous. But you can't let those people get to you. I'm sorry if this is too deep, but it's just the truth. You have to hold on.
okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If not, I'm sorry. But I have to get this out there. I love you all. Talk to me if you need anything, okay? Because there's people out there that love you. Don't let the people that don't get to you. Because there's so much out there to live for. To the high schoolers right now that are getting bullied, the middle schoolers, high school. Oh my God, sorry. High school doesn't last forever. Sorry, I just had to blow my nose. But high school doesn't last forever. One day you'll be going off to college. You will be going to parties, getting your diploma, checking out your career. Don't throw that all away. And if you're in college and contemplating suicide, you have a chance to get married. You have a chance to have your own kids. You have a chance to go out there and make something of yourself. Don't cancel those things. Life shouldn't have a cancel button. You shouldn't press that cancel button. Because if you cancel one thing, you cancel everything. Just as Dory said, just keep swimming. Go forward, never back. Because there's always hope in the future. There's always a way out. Don't ever think that there's not a way out. You are loved and you are strong. And I don't say that just to say it. You really are. If you're watching this video and you are contemplating suicide, I will put the hotline in the description, okay? Please call that hotline. On God, please. I'm sorry. I know you guys have never seen me like this before. It's just a really touchy subject for me. But please help yourself. Don't give up. I know I keep on going over and over again about this. But please, if you need anything, I will try to respond to all comments. Just stay strong. You are loved. Don't give up. That is the moral of this video. I love you guys so much. Even if I don't know you, I love you. I fucking love you. Just know in your heart that everything's gonna be okay. Alright, crash out.